Welcome to the Christian Romance Podcast, where we go behind the books with inspiring Christian romance authors, exploring faith, love, and the journey that brings the story to life. I'm your host, Kelly Jo Wilson, and today we're chatting with Lynette Eason. Lynette is the best-selling, award-winning author of over 60 romantic suspense novels filled with faith, action, and heart. Her books have appeared on the USA Today, Publishers Weekly, CBA, ECPA, and Parable bestsellers lists. She's the recipient of numerous honors, including the Carol Award, the Selah Award, and the Golden Scroll. Her novel, Her Stolen Past, was even adapted into a movie for the Lifetime Movie Network. Known for crafting edge-of-your-seat stories with deep spiritual themes, Lynette continues to inspire and captivate readers around the world. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the episode so you can hear more about our newest book giveaway for this month. Now, here's my conversation with Lynette. Hi, Lynette. I am so happy to have you back on the Christian Romance Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I can't wait to talk about this story with you, okay? I was reading the little blurb, and it looks like a doozy, okay? It looks like edge of your seat, absolute suspense-filled, faith-filled fiction story, okay? So I cannot wait to get to the bottom of it. For what you can share, obviously no spoilers. But before we get started on that, why don't you just share with our listeners a little bit about yourself and the kind of stories that you write?
Well, I am a mom, a wife, and an author, and I write romantic suspense stories. I've been writing for about, very, very long, for a long time. And I've been in the industry almost 20 years now, so that'll give you an idea. And I've written almost 70 books, so that's also give you an idea how long I've been doing this.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
So that's what I do. That's my day job. Day in and day out, I work and get my word count, and then I can play.
I love it. I love it. What's your word count? Just curious.
Oh, it just depends on where I am in the story and how many words I am how far I am from the end. And I don't know, it's a couple thousand a day.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's a wonderful goal. And don't be modest. You have over 70 books, okay, awards. You have such a wonderful, successful career as an author. And you've reached so many readers. Like last time you were here, you were talking about the reader that you how God was changing your character name and the reader reached out to you.
Yes.
And it's so awesome.
My word, yes. That's one of my favorite stories. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. So you're just doing God's work. You are sharing these wonderful stories and pointing them to Jesus and the hope that we have in Jesus. So you are just amazing. That is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
But you also, so I was curious because you also are an agent as well. So what does that look like for you, like being an author and then also seeing the agent side of the publishing world?
Well, I've had an agent for about as long as I've been published. So I've been on the author side of things for years. And at the one point I started thinking, okay, there's going to come a time where I am going to decide, okay, I've written my last book, I'm done. But I don't ever really want to get out of the industry. I love publishing so much. And who knows, maybe I'll be in the middle of a story when I drop dead. I don't know. So probably, but I was thinking, if I decide not to, what else can I do to stay in the industry? And I was like, I've been thinking about it for about, 2 or 3 years about being an agent. And I contacted my agent, who's Tamla Hancock Murray with the Steve Lobby Agency. And I was like, Tamla, don't freak out, but this is what I'm thinking. And I just said, do you think, maybe you could kind of mentor me in what you do as an agent? I know what you do as an agent from my perspective, but what do you do as an agent? The stuff I don't see. And she's like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And so then the next thing I know, Steve Lobby's calling me and saying, I hear you want to join the agency.
4 minutes later, Steve.
It really wasn't, the timetable I had planned out, but sure, why not? So I started that about 2.5 years ago, and that's kind of how that came about. And you know what? It's been great. I work with really, really great people. The other agents in the agency, they're just super fantastic people. Steve's great, and of course Tamla's wonderful. And so it's just a great experience. I mean, even when you're trying to solve problems and work through some drama or whatever, it's a great thing to do. And I don't know, I get to meet a lot of really neat people that way. So that's how that came about. And yeah, I keep my client list pretty small, and just because of the time factor that goes into it, and I'm still writing full time, and so I'm very, 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 very picky, and yeah, like super picky, like more picky than some probably. And so if people need to understand, if they get a rejection from me, it's not necessarily their fault. It could be totally just because I don't have room, and another agent might very well say yes. So there's that. But overall, on the whole, it's been a really great experience, and I enjoy it.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm sure that you're so helpful to the authors that you also, are working with, and mentoring them too. I love that. Doesn't surprise me at all that Tamala was like that. It just seems like an agency that would be that way. Everybody that has had either Tamala as an agent or even just Steve Lobby,
Yeah,
also a friend of mine works with them as well. And then
right.
Thomas Umstead Jr., of course, used to be an agent, and he still is like
Hmm.
friends with Steve, and he just seems like
Yeah.
such a wonderful person, like just very
Mhm.
knowledgeable. And I think it's hilarious that he calls you like like
Yeah.
4 minutes later, like,
I was
just
like,
join
oh,
us.
okay,
I
well, let's
know.
talk about this.
You're like, geez, let me learn a little
Yeah.
something first.
I
Um,
was I was very honored that he asked me to do that. So that was,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
great. But it's
Yeah.
understandable though. I mean, you're still writing full time. Like it's understandable if you are being picky about who you're bringing on. And that's kind of the thing with authors, right? It can be very difficult. It is a lot to learn, a lot of education. And you're going to want to have people that are putting forth that effort to get the education and to build,
Oh
email
yeah,
lists and
absolutely.
things like that,
Yeah.
because otherwise, and you would want an agent. It's good that you're picky because whoever you do choose, they know that they're going to be getting your attention, and
Yeah.
you're being really intentional about that, which
Absolutely.
is good. Because yeah, being full-time author still it would be difficult with your time.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. But no, I think that that's wonderful that you are selective with your authors so they can feel
Yeah.
even extra special. But like you said, I feel like every author that I have talked to that has gone with any traditional publisher, everybody has gotten rejections,
Mhm.
multiple, not
Oh
just
yeah.
one. So it's
That's just
not.
part of it. Yeah.
It's part of it. Yeah, it's part of it. Absolutely. Doesn't mean that the stories aren't good. It just is it's usually a timing issue, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I am curious, why don't you? So last time you were here, we talked about Serial Burn, which was also part of this Lake City Heroes series.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about, just give a little like kind of overview of the series before we talk about Final Approach?
Well, so Lake City is a fictional town in North Carolina. I kind of took a combination of small towns that I really like in that area up there, Boone and Lake Lure, and anyway. Um, and I just created this town, and I really kind of fell in love with it. It was just everything good with a lot of crime. But so and then I brought together these friends who knew each other through their jobs, or because they're all in law enforcement, or one of them was in the medical field. But anyway, so I brought them together and just gave them each their stories. They each show up. All of them show up in each of the books, except for I think Nathan in Serial Burn. He may have been in Target Acquired. I can't remember. I don't think so. I think he was new. And but Andrew showed up in Serial Burn, and then was in the Final Approach as the hero in that story. So it's just a group of friends, their daily jobs, they're living out their faith and fighting crime and being attacked and kidnapped and you know, and just trying to avoid all that. So yeah, so that's their daily lives. But yes.
I love it.
Anyway,
Just a group of friends that, they're dodging bullets and, going out,
dodging bullets,
eating
trying not to get blown
sandwiches,
up, try
trying not
not
to
to
get blown.
die in a plane crash, and hijacking. Just everyday normal stuff
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Everyday normal stuff, which it is for
for
them
them.
in Lake City for them. I love it. I love it. Well, this one final approach. Okay. So I want to hear about Christina. You said Andrew, right? So Special Agent Andrew. You want to talk about the hero and the heroine a little bit, and then we'll talk about the issue that they're facing initially to start this story.
Yeah. So Andrew he's an FBI agent. He gets called in to help on this case. And well, actually he he kind of lands on it. He didn't really mean to be called in. But anyway, so Christine, all of the friends, this is the final book, and all of the friends are going on vacation. They're flying down to the Keys, and the plane gets hijacked. And the story just kind of opens like that and takes off from there. And so obviously the plane lands. They don't crash and die because then I wouldn't have a story. So, but, they have they have to do the investigation into why and all that and find out. They know who it is, but they don't know who's behind it. So, so the story is just all about that. And of course, things take a personal turn for both of them. Andrew has some issues with his family, and she has issues with her family. And so it's just they're trying to stay alive and find out who is behind this hijacking without winding up dead. And in the midst of all of these family troubles. And so I kind of really threw it at them this time, but yeah, so that's pretty much what that is. Christine, she can be. Somebody described her as kind of whiny. Like she's not whiny. She's annoyed at her family a lot, but yeah. So she's not. She was a great character, and I really came to like her a lot. And I think she did grow a lot through the story. Like her character arc, she come across a little whiny, but by the end, she's a much better person than she started. So I think that's important to take into account as well. Um, and Andrew he's just solid. Like he's loyal, he's kind, he's compassionate, and when he sees a friend of his in trouble, he wants to help, and I think that comes through pretty well in the story. At least I hope so. So that's who the characters are.
I love it. I give Christine a pass when she's on a plane trying to take a vacation from this life of getting shot at and all this craziness. And it gets hijacked. She gets a pass. She can whine, especially for families getting crazy. If we got family drama in this. Ugh, absolutely. So her and Andrew essentially are part of like taking down, like stopping the hijacking, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Which isn't a spoiler because you have that in the blurb, or part of it in the blurb. Which is really exciting, very exciting. But that's really neat that they're all friends and they're on this flight together, so they can already work together. You already like know some of the other characters from the books, even though they do read as standalones, though, right? Like you usually write them
as standalones. Yeah.
But it's fun to know like the other characters from the other stories. Yeah. Which is really fun. So would you say it's like a friends? Is it like, so the romance with them, okay, it sounds kind of like with their family issues, but they're already friends first, right? Or are they like...
They're friends. Yeah, they've been friends throughout the whole series pretty much. But they've each had kind of a little crush on each other, and they wouldn't tell each other, but their friends knew that they did. So they're finally at the point where they're kind of ready to kind of take that next step and say, hey, I think what we feel is a little more than friendship, but let's explore this. And then they're too busy trying to stay alive to really worry about it. It kind of develops during that process. And then, in the end, of course, all my books, everybody lives happily ever after except the bad guys. So, so they do make it to the end.
They make it to the end, but this one is definitely throwing throwing the book at them, essentially, right? Like giving
Yeah.
them all these crazy situations to get out of,
Yes.
um, or to wiggle through, right? Because I remember last time we were talking, and it cracks me up that you were like, I don't really mind. Like, you don't mind hurting your characters. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I can't do this to her. I'm like writing like they're real people, like they're my kids or something. And I'm like, no, I can't. You're like, no, they're going to get hijacked and they're going to have to deal with this.
Well, I mean, my thought is I'm in control. I know how this ends. I'm not worried about it. They can suffer for a little while.
The suffering builds the tension, right? The suffering is what makes people go, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how are
Yeah.
they going to get through this?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
And the funny thing is, even though readers who've been reading me for years and read all my books, they know it's going to end well. And
Yeah.
they're like, so I was so worried about this character. I'm like, but you know he's going to be okay. To me, that's so funny. But I do the same thing when I read. So
Oh, I know. Me too. It is funny. It is funny, right? Because we just want to
yeah,
root for people. We want to root for people. We care about them. We're worried about them. That's because you're a wonderful author and you like engage right away, right? Like
yeah,
you have these page turners. It's high stakes. You know, all of your books are very high stakes, and it's like you want to see what happens next, right? So in
yeah,
you care about these people,
yeah.
especially having like a faith element, right? Like
Mhm.
having that spiritual element there with
Mhm.
God, whether even if it's a little bit covert, right?
Yeah,
And it's, you know, it makes you like, oh my gosh, I want to see how they can work that out, kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And then so with this one, now this is the fourth book of the series. Was there
Yeah.
anything in particular about this book that like kind of pressed on your heart a little bit more or just differently than the other ones?
Not really. I mean, I just really enjoyed coming up with this story. Like every time I would kind of get an idea and or I'd get a little surprise, I was like, "Oh, that's gonna happen. That's cool. I like that." So it's kind of like I'm, you got your pantsers and you got your plotters, and then I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of a plantser, so I'll plot a little bit, and then I'll say, "Okay, I'm gonna take off from there and write and see where it's gonna go," and then someone ends up kidnapped, and I'm like, wait, what? When did that happen? And then I have to figure out why that happened and who did it and how to get them out of it. And then so it's kind of like a puzzle, trying to put the edges around. You know how you do a puzzle, you do the edges first and then you fill in. So that's kind of where I am when I'm plotting my stories and when I'm writing my stories. I'm kind of working around the edges first and then I figure out what's going to go in the middle.
I love it. I feel like that's such a perfect way to explain it because I feel like I'm very similar to you in that style because sometimes, especially when you're like writing with God and he's just trying to teach you something in the
Oh,
midst of writing this,
yeah.
like you'll just go out to left field. Like you could have like the few plot points, you have like a general idea, like you said,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, like you said, out of nowhere, somebody's kidnapped and he's like taking me through that. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. I just recently actually I was just writing something myself and I didn't even realize that I had something to work through that my character working
Mm.
through. Did you ever have that happen where like he shows you something that you're like, "Whoa."
Oh, yeah. That's why a lot of my themes are forgiveness.
Yes, forgiveness. That's what it was.
I'm
That's
just
so
like,
weird that you say that.
okay.
How do you deal with that? I mean, I was like so taken aback because I just didn't think that I had any like unforgiveness or anything like that.
Yeah,
And then out of
yeah,
nowhere, he's like showing me
mm,
this part of it.
yeah.
How do you deal with it?
I just go with it, really. I'm just
Yeah.
at this point, after 20 years, when God decides to show me something through this, I'm just like, okay, I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm just rolling with it. Yeah, it's like we're good. I either repent or I need you to work on helping me forgive this person, or yeah, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm really okay. I'm angry. I need to get over this. So it does come through that way, and I finally I don't even fight it anymore. I'm just like, okay, this is what he wants me to learn. I'm going to learn it, no matter how long it takes or how painful it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, Yeah.
That's
So,
funny. That's fun because it is like that, right? It's
yeah.
very much like a dialogue, like you're
Oh,
going
yeah.
through and yeah, especially like writing and then looking up the verses or looking up the
Hmm.
themes or doing any devotionals or something. It's
Hmm.
so crazy how
Yeah.
he just works so much inside you, right? So, and
Yeah.
I feel like, and that's likely because your readers really reach out to you and they love like
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
stories, which is beautiful. And I
It
think,
is.
part of that is probably like they can sense that,
Hmm.
he's working through it. I love how,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I have to work through it, there's somebody out there that has to work through it too. So,
yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you have any other stories of readers reaching out to you and saying similar things?
oh, yeah. So I have tons of reader stories. One was actually the first book I ever wrote for Revell was Too Close to Home. And a reader reached out to me. She wrote me a long email. I went looking for it the other day, actually. I couldn't find it. I'm like really disappointed I couldn't find it. But anyway, and she's like, I just want you to know I was in an abusive relationship and I didn't know what to do. It was me and my son, and
Mm.
I just didn't know what to do. And she said, I walked in this Christian bookstore, and she said, I walked past all the self help stuff. So I just didn't want to do that. And she said, I came across your book, and the cover was so, it just stood out because it was this bright neon yellow. And she said, the cover just stood out to me. So I pulled it off the shelf and I started reading through it. She said, I bought it. And so I went home and read it. And she goes, at that moment, I decided I need to get out of that relationship because she said, your depiction of the hero showed me how a Christian man is supposed to treat a woman. And I knew that I was not with a Christian man because he did not treat me like that. He does not put God first like your hero did. And she's like, I finally understood how a man was supposed to treat a woman. And so she said she got out of the relationship. So
Wow.
I know. And
That's
she and her son.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just one story. I mean, I have a lot. I mean, it's really neat how God has shown me what the words that he's given me have been able to do, the people they've touched and the lives that they've, impacted. And that's just such a wonderful ministry. And it's very humbling. Like if he can use little old me, it's like, that's just awesome. And I love it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it really that's just beautiful, Lynette. Absolutely. Especially I love that you have so many and that you definitely hang on to those forever. I think that's like the most rewarding part of it, right? Is
Yeah.
like knowing that you're reaching people, especially like anyone in an abusive relationship doesn't. It's funny that you say how she walked past the self-help because that's like one thing where you would think like, "Oh no, this.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
like tell people like, no, read this. This is what you should
Yeah.
do. But nobody's thinking that way in it, right? It's too
Mhm.
hard. It's too hard
Yeah.
sometimes. And that's what's so great about Christian fiction is that
Yeah.
it is showing you, allowing you to live through this character
Yeah.
and see how they're dealing with things. And then still God has a chance to speak to your heart in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
So I just love
Absolutely.
that. I love that. I love that you had that story to be there for her, her
Yeah.
and her
I mean,
son.
it's just amazing how God um, puts the words onto the page because he already has that person in mind and he knows who's going to pick up the book and he knows who needs that message that you have in the book, not in a preachy way, but just shown through the characters and their everyday lives and them walking their everyday faith. And I just, it's just mind blowing to me that he does that. And I am so appreciative. Yeah.
Hanging along for the ride, like just
I,
keep your
Sometimes
arms
by
and
my
legs.
fingernails.
I know. Stay inside the car. He's going to take you on a twist.
Yes, yes.
Oh, it's so awesome. It's just so awesome.
Thank you.
Well, with this story specifically, was there any particular like theme, like how you say you talk about forgiveness a lot, or even like a verse that you would tie to
Yeah,
the final
yeah.
bridge story?
So the verse that I chose for this was Psalm 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. And I really think it's very applicable to the story because there was lots of trouble and they needed lots of refuge and strength. And they cried out to God a lot. So yeah.
It definitely sounds like it. It sounds like you definitely put them through the ringer, which is great. And
I did.
I love to see now suspense is always hard for me because I'm a total wimp, and I told you that last time too.
It's
But
fine.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm slowly trying to read some more
But
suspense.
you know it's going to end well. So
That's
there's
true. That is a
that.
good point. That is a good
Yeah.
point. But oh my gosh, I will get so into it. My husband will be like, "Who are you talking about?" I'm like, "The characters in this story are good." It's like a whole thing. I'm like so extra about it.
Oh, that's so funny.
It is funny, but anyway, he just cracks up at me. But the story sounds amazing. I love all of the crazy elements that you put them through. It does sound just thinking about the tropes, like for the romance piece, it sounds like very high stakes, woman in jeopardy. Also with the friendship, I like that it's like the friendship kind of thing, like almost like a friends to lovers kind of thing, or like a crush.
Yeah, yeah, that could be considered one of it because they were definitely friends before they fell in love. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love those. Those are like one of my favorites. I do like enemies to lovers too. I think they're fun and there's a lot of humor that can be in that. But I like the friends though, because it
Yeah.
gives you like, I don't know. I feel like it gives you a little bit of leeway to have them joking around. It's not so much like getting to know each other more so than like they know each other and they're like dealing with
Yeah.
the crazy stuff they have to deal with and like
Yeah.
push together and how they work that out and work that through. And of course, all your books are always so neat with the suspense. And then also like this whole series with the law enforcement and FBI and all that cool stuff that it's very, very neat.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So we are almost at time, but I just wanted to ask if readers want to reach out to you, where is the best place that they can connect with you? And then where is the best place they can get a copy of Final Approach?
Okay, I would love, love, love for readers to sign up for my newsletter. You can go to my website, LynetteEason.com, and there is a link on there. You just click on it and sign up. And if you do that, you get to download a free short story that I wrote. And it's short. It's a short story, but it's about 6,000 words. So it's not like flash fiction or anything, but you get that. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you get a free read each month. Not necessarily from me, but my author buddies that I kind of spotlight somebody each month, and each of these people have a free read for readers. So, and you might find a new author that you like. So, and I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and I do interact on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm not on there like all the time, but I do check in, and yeah, I have to write, so
You're busy.
yeah, but I do check in because I do love that interaction with the readers. I love it when they tag me in a post. I love that when they tag me with a picture of them with the book. And so, yeah. And so Final Approach, you can get it pretty much anywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Baker Bookhouse in Grand Rapids will ship it to you. And a lot of times if you pre-order books from them, they will give you 40% off and they will give you free shipping. It's a great, great, great deal.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Baker Bookhouse is always so wonderful. And I will definitely put those links in the show notes too. So nobody has to travel too far to get them. I always put Baker Bookhouse for sure in the links. And then usually, on Amazon or anywhere else that you can get that. But yes, so thank you so much for being here, Lynette. I always love chatting with you. Your stories are so like suspenseful and edge of your seat. And it's very exciting to talk about how you take your characters through these and just the hope that you always bring your readers back to. So thank you so much for what you do and just for being here. Yeah.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with one book lover like yourself. We love to bless as many people as we can with fun behind-the-scenes interviews and, of course, great books. This month, we're having a classic Christian romance book giveaway. One blessed winner will receive a bundle of 5 timeless Christian romances, including favorites like Love Comes Softly and Redeeming Love. These are the stories that shaped Christian romance as we know it, filled with faith, redemption, and lasting love. The giveaway ends September 30th, so don't wait. Whether you're listening right when the episode drops or tuning in later, you can always find the latest giveaway at ChristianRomancePodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, keep your faith, share the love, and happy reading.